Hey guys, this is Nathan here. I'm a worship leader here at Liberty Church Foley Campus, where we have purple lights. Anyways, today we're going to, I'm going to show you some of our lead guitar stuff. I'm going to go through the gear and show you just how we do things here at Liberty. It's not necessarily the only way, but this is how we choose to do it. So let's get started. I'll go through the rig first. So go straight from the guitar to the tuner. Don't have to do that. This volume pedal does let you have the extra tuner output, but this is just the way we like to do it. It's nice to have it mute. When it's on, it's muted, which is awesome. So we go from the tuner to the volume pedal. It works. Go from the volume pedal to the Boss graphic equalizer. I don't use this very often, but sometimes when I want a good low-end boost for swells, I have my compressor on. Good low-end boost for swells, it's really good to add that. I just have it dialed in for the low-end boost. It can do whatever, but that's how I use it. We go from there to Boss Blues driver. It's nice. I have this on basically all the time. I don't ever turn it off. It's good for lighter drive. It's not overbearing, but when you do play on it can get some huevos there. And it's awesome to have just this on for swells as far as drives go. Going on to the Boss Super Overdrive, I really only use this for solos. It's good for on top of the other two drives. It kind of adds a nice little tone boost as well as volume boost to it, and makes it sound really good. Next is the Modtone Dyno Drive. It's just an overdrive that does get heavier as you play harder. Not quite as well as the Blues driver, which is kind of weird, but it's good. I have it on most of the time, unless I'm doing a softer part or doing swells. Go on to the compressor here. I don't really ever use the compressor, not gonna lie.
So like with your overdrive, do you ever have a time to where you have all three of them on at once? Is there a need for that?
For solos are the only time I have them all three on, but almost every solo I will have all three of them on. I will probably never have either one of these pedals on with the Super Overdrive. I will probably only have this on if both of these are on. Because I just like the tone of the other two better than the Super Overdrive. I like this more for a boost than anything.
Cool.
Moving on to the Hardwire Delay / Looper. This is a nice pedal. I don't use it for my main delay because it doesn't really have a tap function on it unless you push and hold it, and that's just obnoxious. So I have it set to where I want it for what I use it for, and I have the stomp lock on it so that no one or myself can adjust it. But it's set up to do a ton of delay. It's low fidelity delay, which is a cool function on there. And it's got a lot of repeats, and it's, you can kind of hear it. But I use this only for swells. So when I'm doing swells or really, really ambient, flowy parts, I throw that on there.
So was that mostly with like the Blues driver and then the Hardwire together is how you do your swells?
With my swells, I have my Blues driver on, this on, and then a couple other pedals that I'll get to in a second. And I'll demonstrate some swells and whatnot. But next I got the DD20 Giga Delay by Boss. Awesome pedal. I love it. It's got a lot of my presets on here. But it does a little bit of everything. Right now, the different presets I have on it, I don't have it specifically for any songs. I just kind of have it for different sounds that I want. Right now, Green, which is the manual, I have it set to just kind of this softer delay. You're not going to hear it really have distinct repeats, but it does add kind of a reverb to it, basically. I'll turn the reverb on. It's just added reverb. This first one is a really, really short delay, but it's a dotted eighth delay, so it's perfect for a lot of lead parts. it's really short. The next one is more ambient. It's another dotted eighth delay, but it's kind of more of a reverb at the moment. I'm probably gonna change that soon. But the third preset is what I use for swells. It's a dotted eighth delay, but it's longer and a lot more ambient and flowy.
That sounds cool.
And it's, I think, set on a tape delay, so it sounds really cool. The last one, it's using the warp function on it, and it's just a quarter delay. It's not the most potent delay in the world, but when you push and hold this button, it puts a freeze on it, which is really helpful if I need to hold a chord out for a really long time, especially if our pastor's just feeling it and we keep going forever. It's kind of nice to have that. And then hooked up to this, I have my this tap tempo switch, another Boss switch, and then I've got a Boss reverb here, awesome reverb, I love it. I always have it on unless I'm playing like really, really, really heavy parts, and it helps to cut through to turn it off. But that's it as far as gear goes. I will demonstrate some of the different things that I do and the different setups that I have, and let you hear it a little bit. You'll get to see my feet. This will be glorious. Maybe not. You can show my guitar if you want.
Just explain to them what pedals you have on.
All right. So right now I'm going to show you some swells. So I've got the blues driver on, I've got the hardwire delay on, I've got the DD20 on set to preset 3, and I've got the reverb on. At the moment, I'm not really playing with anything, so the tempo doesn't really matter. I don't really even mess with the tempo on the delay anyway for swells, but here's some of the sounds. Sometimes I use some slide in there. It's just fun to use some slide. With that, you just kind of want to go either above the note or below the note that you're going to and just slide into it. And it makes some cool little sound effects and everything. It's nice to throw over the top. Next I can show you some lead parts. I'll play our version of the intro to Furious. We happen to do it a little bit different than a lot of people do. A little heavier and a little faster usually. So I'll just go with it. Right now we got the blues driver on, we got the dyno drive on, we've got the giga delay on, set to preset 1 with the dotted eighth delay, and the digital reverb on. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And we've got the eighth notes tapped in, and you're playing with the eighth notes, but it makes you play 16th notes because it's a dotted eighth delay, and dotted eighth delays are awesome. That's it as far as lead, just like regular intro parts or whatever goes, and then the solo, you kick this on.
Really helps it cut through the rest of the instruments on stage.
Yeah, definitely.
That sounds good.
See, that's it as far as gear for lead guitar goes. I guess some technique stuff, maybe. For playing lead, a lot of the time, it's like building a house. Other instruments, they're building the foundation, they're building the walls. You basically build the ceiling. Sometimes you have a vaulted ceiling, with really high ceilings. Sometimes you just have a regular old ceiling. It just depends on with the song that you're doing and what part of the song. So sometimes you'll be playing some chords up the neck, broken chords. So you'll have these broken chords, and it's just like a G shape down there, but you move it up and you bar the. So you can do that G, you can do the C, the E minor, or you can play a G there for the E minor, and you got the D. You can go up to the A minor there, and you can move that between any key using the number system. So it's really easy to do that. Other times you'll be wanting to play some notes higher up. And you'll just be coloring the chords that are being played. For a lot of verses and stuff, what I end up doing is a lot of stuff like this. You'll be using those chords. It's kind of arpeggiating them a little bit.
Just kind of filling in space.
Yeah, you just fill the space with it. And for solos, it's that vaulted ceiling. You throw it up there, and it's the centerpiece at that point. But too much busy stuff going on can be distracting from the lead vocal going on. And that's what the people are singing with in the congregation. So you want the words to be the focus.
So what would you say to like the lead guitarist that is really good, and let's say he like started learning a bunch of scales and just kind of wants to solo and throw in licks all the time?
I would say there are a couple different things for that. One, if you don't have a band with you that's good enough, we'll go back to the house analogy. If they don't have the foundation set well enough for a huge ceiling, huge vaulted ceiling that you're building with your guitar part, the house is going to fall down and it'll sound terrible. If you have it in the wrong place, it'll be distracting. And I think in the right place, sometimes it can be distracting with how much you're actually soloing. I mean, if you're just the entire time, it's really distracting.